Will the Red Sox take down the Yankees tonight at Fenway in Game 2? Will Walker Buehler get revenge on his old team when the Dodgers open up a weekend series at the Padres? Find out now on MLB Bases Loaded. A huge card on slate today.
15-game card. It's us versus the bookies. Bases loaded. High noon. It's going to be a showdown.
On a suddenly not so casual Friday, the My Hat is engaged. Two questions asked. We will answer them now. It is MLB Bases Loaded. The first Friday of the summer. It is June 26th. 2026. I'm the Shark. He is Mikey Money. Mike, what's going on this morning?
We've got Feisty Friday, huh? Fire them up Friday. Let's go, man. It's a good time to be in MLB Bases Loaded, man. We got summer mode is here, and we got some fun in hand here. There's one pitching matchup today that I was thinking about this morning. I am genuinely just excited to see who comes out on top of it. And I'm sure you can probably guess which one it is. We'll talk about it. I know I can't wait to get into it. But man, what a day yesterday. Talk about just implosions and classic melts. I think I put a tweet out. I responded to one of your tweets, Shark. I said, man, it's not that hot. What's going on with all this melt? Come on now. Let's go. Let's see if we can't find a way to put the money back in those bankrolls and keep this thing rolling as we head into a glorious weekend here. It's going to be a lot of fun. We got early UFC tomorrow, man. I'm fired up. It's going to be a good day.
Yeah, I'm fired up too. I took a real significant loss yesterday, and we'll never run away from that conversationally speaking. But we will say this. If you guys really watched the games yesterday, as Mike said, complete chaos across the league. I mean, the bullpens might as well be relegated. I mean, if we're being serious, put these guys out in Double-A. These bullpens are absolutely disastrous. Starting pitchers we thought were 1A class aces, just giving up 5, 7 earned runs, just all over the grid. It's 82 games in, basically. We're right around halfway in the season. Some of these guys may be fatiguing in the summer, but guess what, guys? We are not fatigued in the summer. If you guys are in the chat on the East Coast, as I always say, it's lunch hour. It's Friday. Let's enjoy a great conversation. We got a big card. If you guys are on the West Coast, still working, get that coffee. And let's get down to business.
I got one comment to make about that here. You talk about these bullpens, and it's funny because we were on top of the juice ball comment the other day, right? At the end of it, it came down to, listen, good stuff, right on point. We're seeing Fangraphs come out talking about juice balls. Then we started talking just last week about bullpens and said, we got to start now looking at bullpens. And man, if yesterday you touched on something that I wanted to make sure we talked about, because we are going to start incorporating that as we roll forward. But man, oh man, what a day for bullpens yesterday. And I don't mean that as a positive, Shark.
No, absolutely not. And, you talk about bullpens, and we were saying it before, but, you try to grade these bullpens, and then sometimes you say to yourself, it really is just variance and dispersion, because it comes down to one pitch. You guys see some of these reviews. I mean, the balls and strikes, we're talking about a millimeter that can determine a walk versus a strikeout, which then can lead to runs or not. So this is why bankroll management in baseball is so unbelievably important, because there is really just small window craziness. That all being said, Mike and I are very fired up to get back in here. I was saying to Mike before the show, one of my favorite sayings is, the night is darkest right before the dawn. We hit some darkness last night. We are going to dominate this weekend and going forward. And as I always like to say, it is a suddenly not so casual Friday. Let's get down to business and let's talk some professional baseball. First game of the card. Mike, you're talking about a big pitching matchup. I think this might have been where you wanted to go. Reds at Pirates opening up the card tonight. Divisional baseball in Pittsburgh. Paul Skeens against Andrew Abbott. You talk about two of the usual suspects here. No, we're not talking about a movie in the 90s. We're talking about Ace Paul Skeens on a 7-game losing streak and Andy Abbott robbing the bank every 5 days. Mike, this is going to be a great conversation. What do you think of this game?
Man, I genuinely am looking forward. This is not often do so this is how excited I am. I can't even talk. This is one of those spots where it's like, you know what? If you don't even have money on the game, you just want to see the outcome. And that's exactly where we are. Cause my boy, Andy Abbott, I mean, listen, the guy's been shoving. He's one of the best pitchers in baseball right now. Paul Skeens hasn't been playing bad. But it goes back to what we talked about, right? Paul Skeens ain't batting. And, the funny thing is I'm trying to find it here. I should have been a little more prepared here, but Paulie Skeens, when he gives up 3 or less runs, I'm sorry, 3 or less hits, I believe the number is. They've only won like once, and if he gives up 4 or more, they haven't won at all. So it's like this guy does have to go out there and absolutely be a stud. And even then, the team's not winning behind his back. So the other side of things here, you've got Andy, and we talked about this guy had a propensity to put some runners on base, but boy, if he's not looking pretty sharp right now in his performance overall. So there's a couple ways that I want to attack this game. We'll talk about a couple things here. So bullpen wise, number 18 in baseball ranks the Pittsburgh Pirates. Number 25 are the Cincinnati Reds. So their bullpen stinks, the Cincinnati Reds, and the Pirates are probably right around middle of the pack. So you got to expect these dudes to go out there and, put on a show. And I think they do. I like Paul Skeens to get over 8.5 strikeouts. This Reds team does swing for the fences. They are boom or bust, and that does generate K opportunities. So I'll take the alt line here with the little Paul Skeens. I'll look at some of these numbers here as we kind of roll through this thing. But and then I'm going to take a shot with the Reds. Listen, two teams moving in different directions right now. And I know it's hard to say after one side of things saying, Paul Skeens and he's been losing, but how could they be going in different directions? Well, because of the bats. I told you my thought process and philosophy around the pitchers. Now, let's talk about Ellie De La Cruz coming back. Blade. I talked the other day about Sally firing up out there. We've got Nathaniel Lowe and Spencer Stew. This team on the red side of things has some bats. And the flip side, you got some dudes sitting around spending time on the IL for the Pittsburgh Pirates. So you weakened the Pirates lineup. You've strengthened the Reds lineup. Paul Skeens can't catch a win to save his life, and Andrew Abbott's one of the best pitchers in baseball right now. So this is a great opportunity to take a big price tag right off the hop. And now, listen, does it mean it's going to win? This is the age-old question. Well, no. The answer is no. It doesn't mean it's going to win, but I think you see this first 5 probably is a lower-scoring game. But listen, even the sharps agree, man. You've got this opened up at minus 200. The public is public Paul Skeens Pirates. How about that? For triple alliteration, minus 200 down to minus 178 with 83% of the bets on these Pirates here. So look, take a shot, plus 170. I was talking to a friend last night. I said, and Shark, you and I might have been texting about this too. These run line bets are for suckers, man. You're taking this plus 1.5. Listen, take the big swing. Teams don't just lose by 1 run very often. Now we'll talk about that in this next series, but there are some games and teams that are designated to go out there and be bangers, and that'd be the Reds. So I wouldn't say plus 1.5 at minus 127. I would say money line at plus 170. And look, I think the first 5, that's another way to attack this thing. Under 3.5, you're sitting at plus 117. We're going to go out there and put 4 runs up between these two dudes? Come on, stop it.
I haven't even gotten started, and you're telling me to stop it. I heard you. I heard you actually say at the beginning of that take, and I had to do a double take. I like Paul Skeens. We thought we were living in a dystopian baseball universe yesterday. Maybe we've continued into today, but of course, then you did regress back to fading Skeens. So you liked him for a half second, and
I like his strikeouts.
You don't like him now, but I will say this: enough is enough. The buy hat is engaged, and Mike, you said you're taking the Reds. Then you said it might not win, and I kind of found that to be amusing. But I think this is where you have to buy Skeens, and as I said, it's just enough. He's lost 7 straight games. Like, are we kidding me? This is what we said about some of these other pitchers. We said it about Bybee. We said it about Roop. Skeens is not Bybee and Roop. This guy is a Cy Young level pitcher. I mean, he's the best pitcher in baseball, theoretically. Jacob Mizorowski also going tonight says, hold on a second on that. But you look at this 7-game losing streak. As you mentioned, he hasn't been particularly bad. He's also lost 4 straight home games. You talk about a recipe for success and stirring the soup here. Guess what is coming tonight? It's the Reds. And Skeens is 6-0 in his career against the Reds. 2 earned runs against in 6 appearances. 34 innings pitched. He just lays it down against this lineup. And 3 home games in that window, all margin wins. 4-1, 7-0, 7-0. And, we're talking about the run line. And, of course, I agree. I've taken some run line losses. I don't see it coming tonight. I see margin. I'm going to give you guys -1.5 on the plus. And final point on this, you want to just fade the Reds in general in the division. They just got swept against the Brewers. The last time they got swept in a series within the division, it was at Pittsburgh, not coincidentally, earlier this year. And in the series opener to that game, they did lose by margin on a Friday night, 9-1. The Pirates are 77 runs better than the Reds. The Reds are wildly overvalued. Skeens, I see you, my dude. Livy Dunn is not going to be saying, oh, fuck, Paul gave up a home run at the Blue Jays tonight. No, this is a complete game shutout style game. Mike, we've gone back on this game for almost 7 minutes. It's Skeens and it's Abbott, and you still have more. What's going on?
I'm not done yet, man. Listen, 6 straight wins for Paul Skeens. Let me ask you this. Riddle me this, Batman. How many times was Paul Skeens the number 9 least profitable pitcher in baseball in those 6 performances? Furthermore, put Andy Abbott on the bump. Put him in there as a dog. Put him in there on the road. Guess what his record is out there? 15-3. He's taken down the likes of Slick Nick Pivetta. He took down Jesus Luzardo. You got Colin Rea. He's taken down Carlos Rodon. He's taken down Brandon Pfaadt as a winner on Diamondbacks. He took down Will Warren just recently as well. He's a dragon slayer. He's not afraid to follow the blood trail into the woods. And I promise you, he'll come home with dinner. So let's see what happens.
All right, we will move on. Big dog stuff here on a suddenly not so casual Friday. Guys out in Pittsburgh, put the show on, listen to our takes, crack some beers. Paul, shove it down their throat. Let's keep it moving. Next game on the card, staying in that portion of the country, we're going to Detroit, game 2 of this series. We're getting Tigers Astros game 2. We were talking about it last night. We thought the Tigers would get them. Really kind of a dispersion loss. 2-1 Astros, both teams with precisely 5 hits. And just a point of emphasis on this, sometimes you cap a game and it really is a coin flip. The box score was dead even. One team by 1 run. It happened to be the Astros. Now you get a bounce back potentially. Montero against Arrighetti. Mike, what's going on here?
Yeah, I like Arrighetti in these positions. He's another one of those guys where I kind of watched him coming up and I saw him coming out of the, IL, and he's been playing and he's been performing. And can't say the same thing about the Tigers. I do think the Tigers are going to start to, swing back to the middle with their pitching staff coming back. They're getting themselves healthy as a squad here, but I don't like what the number's doing. -120s down to 104. Thing is, you look at both these pitchers, and Keider Montero can go out there and handle business, at least from a no-run first inning perspective. You look at Skeens out there and you say, well, he's the best nerfy guy on the card. It's not true. It is actually Keider Montero. And so I talked to you and I said, so when I talk about the run lines, I'm talking about taking the +1.5. Not like I'm okay to lay the run line, like lay that 1.5. If you think they're going to win, go big. But there are some teams though, in talking out of both sides of my mouth here, that are, I think, designated as 1-run squads out there. And that AL Central, we see those unders all the time. So it's not a bad take to get in there and jump on those things, but no run first inning for this Tigers game. +100. I mean, you're talking even money spots out there, even -105 if there's a couple juice books out there. So I like it. I think this is a spot though where Arrighetti fires up. I don't want, Tigers had a tough break yesterday. And man, if that ball in that 9th inning just hopped 1 second sooner or moved 1 foot away, that was a situation where the Tigers were coming back to win that game. So I will look to the no-run first inning, despite the fact that I still think this is probably another under situation out there. I just don't like the fact it's moving up to 9.
Yeah, you're leading me right into my take. I actually like the over in this game. I think that you're looking at a cluster of unders between these teams, which is going to come the other direction here. If you go through the last 3 games, this is actually the second series this year between these teams. They did play 3 earlier in Houston as well, I believe, or it might have been last year, but regardless, it doesn't matter. The last 3 games were 4-2, and last night 2-1. Key point on the lines. 7.5 lines and 8. This opened up at 8.5. It's getting steamed up. And you're looking at a dynamic here where Arrighetti on the road, is very inflated. He has a lot of walks. And Mike, you said you've been following this guy for a while. I can't say I have been. I wasn't hanging out watching high school baseball in New Mexico 4.5 years ago, but I'm glad you were. But that all being said, oftentimes when guys have a lot of walks, it's not as problematic as you might think because it means that they actually have a ton of spin and they're hard to hit. You see this with guys like Garrett Crochet, a lot of walks. It is not about being a bad pitcher or anything. I think that's kind of the conversation with Arrighetti, which is why his ERA is low. He's not giving up a lot of hits, so he's very hard to hit, but he's going to have a lot of runners on base, and it's going to be a Friday night in Detroit. It's going to be warm out. I think that leads to potentially fatigue. I think the endurance factor here is going to be a problem. I think he might not get deep into the game, and then the bullpens come in. And you talk about Keider Montero here. Montero's coming off a divisional start, and great pattern here. The last time he had a divisional start at home and pitched well and stayed at home versus an opponent from the American League West, he was laying right around the same line. It was a small favorite against the Angels. He pitched absolutely terribly, and the game went way over the total, 10-6. I think this is really just speaking to it. And final point, Arrighetti actually did pitch a road game last August at Detroit against Jack Flaherty. He gave up a ton of runs in the game, 2 home runs against, and Detroit won the game 10-0. Line in that game was 7.5, 8 against Flaherty. It's bumped up. Very contrarian over here, Mike, but I think we're going to see a continuance from what we saw yesterday, not necessarily in terms of the abstract results for the game sides, but just a lot of runs. There's potentially juice balls, bigger balls, rewound balls. I think you're going to see a lot of runs here tonight. Take the over. You can still get 8.5 in the market at 117. And let's cash. Keep it moving down the line here. It's slightly longer takes in the early card here. We are fired up on a Friday. When I lose, I get more passionate. It's kind of crazy. Sometimes you got to go down to come up, but let's keep it moving down the line here. Next game on the card, 7:05 in Baltimore. Nats-Orioles, second series of the year. This is that DC rivalry series here. Should be an interesting matchup. I think these teams do care more than your average interleague opponents. Alvarez at Rogers. Rogers slightly improved recently. Mike, what's going on here?
Yeah, I'd have to take the Nats in this case or no play. You know, I know the AL has been pretty dominant out there against the NL. And the thing for me is when you look at the pitching side of things here, this is where you've found that since, whoops, I got to change the graphic there. Since Rogers has come back here, not the best in form. And then at the same time, go back to this, winning pitchers perspective. Spencer Arrighetti finds himself like number 8 on the list. I wish they put numbers on this. I didn't have to count it, but in that mix, in that equation, Alvarez is a young up and comer. So I think he'll be able to go out there and handle just fine. Probably do see runs, but I would take the Nationals. Tough melt yesterday against the Phillies, but we talked about kind of step down in class, and I think Baltimore in this case is that step down in class, at least for the first 5. So I will take a look here at the first 5 of this game. From a bullpen perspective, here's that Baltimore team ranked 20th, but then the Nats are 28th, and that kind of shows you what happened yesterday. Now the Phillies, we'll talk about them. That's a whole different story when it comes to the explosion of runs and the records that they're setting. But for time being here, the Nats first 5, let's stay away from the bullpen. Let's back the better pitcher here than Alvarez.
Yeah, I would lean towards the Nats as well. I think this is a terrible spot for Baltimore. We talk about the Nats losing 3 straight to the Phillies in truly egregious fashion. We can talk about that a little later when the Phillies hit the card here. But this is really a tough spot for Baltimore. Baltimore's coming home off a 9-game trip all out west. Seattle, Dodgers, Angels. And you kind of saw some fatigue set in for this team, I think, in the final game at the Angels. They had a significant lead in the game and ended up giving it back, losing an extra 7-6. And I talk about this all the time, but when you get these cross-country trips for teams off of losses, it just kind of festers on the plane. Like, it's not a high energy. You come back, you get a scrappy Nats team just traveling across town. I think the Nats will be pissed off, and the Nats have actually performed reasonably well this year at American League teams. I don't love the play, if I'm being honest. I think this is kind of a tough game in general. Alvarez doesn't go deep at all. He never makes it past the 5th inning. You're going to get this Nats bullpen again. Mike, if we're talking about bullpens right now, the Nats, in my opinion, have to be notorious bullpen 1 right now for me. This is an absolute gas can, giving up, I believe, what, 12? No, 5 last night, 2 the previous night, 8. So they give up 15 earned runs in the last 3 ninth inning frames alone. Like, are you kidding? Mike, this has to be the worst bullpen right now in the league.
Bottom 3, Minnesota Twins, Athletics, then the Washington Nationals. They've dropped four positions in the last week, the Washington Nationals. So they are sliding. But guess which the worst one is here in the last 7 days? Guess which bullpen's given up the most runs?
San Francisco? I don't know.
Yeah, San Francisco. Struggle bus city out there, man. They've gone down 8 spots in the last week. That's an impressive fall as well. So now you know, guys, that's it. We're going to start talking more about these pens to keep you guys enlightened and educated as we try to make these informed betting decisions, Shark. But what do you got then for this game?
A great conversation on terrible bullpen.
All right.
We'll leave it at that. I think the Nats could scrap a victory, but it's a tough game. Keeping it moving down the line. We will go to Toronto, 7:07. We're back. It's Friday night. It's the first Friday this summer. Why would we not be at 7:07 at the Rogers Center? Patrick Corbin against Nathan Eovaldi. You saw it last night. Gausman was terrible. Got to give Mike his flowers in this one. Mike was the only person on the planet that thought Gausman would suck yesterday. I took the loss. I'll certainly own it. Mike, what's going on here tonight?
Oh, I think the hot take of the day was you got 6 hours before the game's time. There's plenty of time to cancel that bet. Man, I was fired up for that thing. The first 5. Now, listen, I thought a little bit, Shark. I got to tell you, I was sweating, my guy. I mean, it was down to that 8th and 9th inning where it was like, boom. And there was a 6-5 final. So definitely a little bit of a shock and awe factor there. The behind got a little tight, as they say. So, hey, listen, I think today, though, we kind of see a little bit of a more of the same. Let's see some runs. You know, you look at Patrick Corbin, and, I think now talk about juice balls. Like, this is a perfect time for this guy to flub. Eovaldi, his last 4 starts, he's given up 5.11 ERA. So I think we see runs. I'm going to go back to the Rangers. I'm not going to run away from these Texas Rangers, but I'll take the plus money, and I'll also take a shot with this thing to go over 8.5.
I agree. I think Texas wins, and I think it goes over. And you look at this dynamic, really good stuff here, actually, involving Eovaldi against the Blue Jays. You go back through the last 4 times he pitched against Toronto while playing for Texas. Of course, this guy's bounced around quite a bit. You get 3 overs and 1 under, and basically nothing in the middle. And that's kind of what I see here tonight. I see it really extreme over. So Eovaldi 4 starts in the last 4 years against the Blue Jays. 1 game went under, and it was 2-0. So you guys see what I'm saying? Extremely low scoring. The 3 overs, here's your 8.5. It was not 9 or 10. It was 9-2, 11, Texas at Toronto, 13-8 over at Texas. And last year, August 17th, Eovaldi on the road at Jose Barrios, Texas 10-4. And I think that's what you're going to see again here. I think you're going to see a margin win from Texas and a lot of runs. Talk about the line. The books agree with us. All 4 Eovaldi matchups versus Toronto in the last 4 years were graded precisely at 7.5. This is the first one they bumped up to 8.5. And it's because Patrick Corbin's on the bump too. This guy's been absolutely terrible at home against the American League. He's got roughly a 2.0 whip in 16 2/3 innings pitched, 28 hits, 4 walks. And Eovaldi will come in here and he will shove. Great data here. Take the over, take the Rangers. Let's cash both, and let's keep it moving. Next game on the card, Interleague Baseball tonight in Tampa. Nick Martinez hosting Zach Gallen and the Diamondbacks. Couple moving parts in this game. We got some delays, some travel, a bunch of stuff, but Zach Gallen not looking good on the road, Mike. What do you think about this one?
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. We talked about him yesterday in that St. Louis game. What a bummer, man. In terms of the home run derby contest that we have out there, a bunch of you guys and myself and Shark included had Arizona and St. Louis players. So very much everyone is still alive because I think there were only 2 guys that cashed in the home run contest yesterday. But, now you move Gallen back, you put him on the road. The Diamondbacks travel poorly. The Gallen travels even more poorly. But we got to look at some bullpen numbers out there. And there is a pretty big gap between these two right now. 17 for the Diamondbacks, 23 for Tampa. The thing is, Diamondbacks are slightly regressing. Tampa's just pretty much holding strong at bat. So drill in. Let's look at this first five. Let's take a look at fading on Zach Gallen, especially knowing that creatures of habit situation, right? Knowing that this guy does want to, or he was supposed to pitch yesterday. They push him back with the elements out there. I like the first five with this Tampa Bay side of things here. I'd lay the half a run. You get a nice little even money spot out there for the Tampa Bay first five, even money plus 100.
Yeah, I got my hat on over here. I got to lean the other direction, but love this hat. Love this take. The buy hat is engaged. We're taking Tampa Bay here. Let me see what the money line number is. Looking at minus.
I like Tampa too. I think it's a great Tampa play too. I'm just a little concerned about some of that bullpen.
Yeah, you can get minus 127. I like that price as well. What you're looking at here is pretty square, but it is sustainable. Zach Gallen on the road is 0-6 if it's the first game of a road sequence. 2-0, actually. Second game, road back-to-back, and that is psychology. This guy does not travel coming from home to road, but once he gets on the road, he's been in hotels for a little while. He does travel better in the second start. And you look at Tampa in this series, you talk about a series that really doesn't have a ton of data. I mean, you talk about two teams that are not in the same league. They're not on the same coast. It's kind of just really an anecdotal series. Tampa has dominated, actually, 7-1 last 8. And Nick Martinez is actually pitching great this year at the Trop. I've said this before. Why couldn't Nick have just pitched his whole career for the Rays? He'd be an all-star every year. This is Tampa Bay. They have a great pitching coordinator and general scheme down there. He's 2-1 against the National League at home. Great numbers. And I had to remind myself, a lot of times with these guys that flip leagues, Martinez did pitch in the National League for the last 4 years with the Padres and the Reds. So he's familiar with these opponents. Not only does he know their lineups, he also just wants to shove on them because they're old rivals. So I think you're going to see top-level Martinez. I think Gallen gets smoked. I could see margin developing here, Mike. And final point on this, I tried to fade Tampa Bay yesterday, and they lit up Seth Lugo for 13 runs. We've seen this with the Rays this year. They've been a really hot team, and then they get cold. I thought maybe they were a sell team, but I actually think they might be ramping back up. And I think that they're going to continue the momentum from that absolute slaughterhouse yesterday. I think they blow them out tonight. I can see the run line hitting here as well. Take the Rays. The buy hat is engaged. And let's cash. Keeping it moving down the line here. Next game on the card. Big dog stuff here. Fenway Park on a Friday. The first Friday of the summer. Yankees, Red Sox. Will Warren at Peyton Toll. Interesting game last night. Interesting is being nice. Egregious would be more appropriate. Cam Schlittler took a loss with 0 earned runs. How does that even happen? 4 errors. It was absolute chaos. Mike, can we find any normalcy here tonight?
You know, there might be a great time. We talk about some of those series bets the other day. This might be a good time to jump in on this Yankees to win the series because you got Warren and Tolley. We'll talk about that in a minute here. But then tomorrow you'd get Garrett Cole in a bounce back position against who? Jake Bennett. And then, excuse me, on top of that, you go to close it out there. You got Carlos Rodon against Sonny Gray. So there's going to be some great pitching matchups here. But I do think the rest of the way, you have to say this is probably a Yankees position. And I like the Yankees here today. You know, Peyton Toll in general, guy's been Tolley, I guess, right? Started out the season pretty strong, but, you know, at the end of the day, they just don't catch wins. He's got a little of that Paul Skeens syndrome in him. Not that he's of the same degree or talent level. Don't mistake what I'm saying there. But you're 11-2 if you fade this dude. So, you know, Will Warren comes in here and, you know, Will Warren left a lot to be desired in his last start. You know, he gave up 2 earned runs and a homer. I mean, I guess I say a lot to be desired. He did bounce back from a couple of kind of mediocre positions. And frankly, in his defense, Shark, the guy had 4 straight road starts. So he came back home against the Reds. He got belted. They lost the game 10-2. I guess it really wasn't his fault, but I think it is a good position to bounce back for these Yankees in general. And then you want to talk about bullpens. Well, you got number 3 in baseball are the Yankees, and then number 9 are the Red Sox. So there's the advantage there as well. I think you go out there and you take this number with Will Warren and these New York Yankees.
I agree. I think the Yankees win the game. Best look for me in this game, official play. However, we're taking the over. I think you're going to see more runs. And, you know, you look at Warren. Warren is actually 7-0 on the road. which is a really incredible stat. But he has struggled situationally in these road starts. It's really been the run support that has pulled him across the finish line. He's getting 7.57 runs per game of support on the road. And Mike, I always talk about this with these guys that seem to get like otherworldly run support. There's got to be something more to it than just total randomness. I think that he must be like a good guy. You know, he's from, I believe he's from the South. I think he's from like Alabama or something. I mean, I could be totally wrong, but I think the Yankees just like this dude. They're like, it's Will Warren Day. We also know he's a fifth starter. He's maybe fringe. He might actually get pulled out to the bullpen at some point. Let's show up for this dude. And, you know, truthfully, outside of the precision of them actually just liking this guy, Will Warren, we do see this across the league. Going back to the Skeens comment for a second, the Skeens can't catch wins because they don't have any run support for the guy, because the lineup thinks he's going to ace him, so they don't show up. It's your classic athletes letting down in the moment with an ace on the mound, and they show up big, understanding the pitcher might not perform great. So I think you're going to see a ton of runs here from the Yankees against Toll, and I do think Warren could give up runs. It's not really a complicated take, but one final point on this. Toll actually did pitch a home game against the Yankees back in April against Cam Schlittler. It went under the total, 7.5, 4-2. And this has moved up a full run to 8.5, indicating the pitcher's duel against Cam Schlittler will not repeat with Warren on the bump. This is a strong take. Take the over, guys. And let's cash. Keeping it moving down the line here. A lot more to go. And on this Friday, energy is high. If you guys are in the chat, say what's up to us. We know we got 50 people in the chat oftentimes, and people are not saying hi. I always say, don't hide in the corner. Let us know what you think. Comments, plays, whatever's going on. Let us know. It is a community just as much as it is picks. And the next game on the card, we are going to New York City, going to Queens. Phillies Mets opening up a series tonight. Wheeler at an unknown pitcher. Mike, right before the show, the Mets ownership group must have been listening to Bases Loaded yesterday. They finally fired the manager. I said yesterday I'm going to give some vindication to the Mets. I gave a full-scale rant. I will take personal responsibility for this guy getting fired. I'm proud of it. That all being said, Mike, we have no idea what's going on in this game. Will the Phillies continue to score 5 runs per 9th inning, or what's going on here?
I can't tell you any more about what's going on with this Phillies team here, man. These guys might be that magic here. Phillies versus Dodgers, NL Championship Series. Phillies walk away with the winner and go out there and represent with that beautiful baby blue maroon outfit they got there, but that kit. But look, I think this is a tough spot here. So they're going to go to this guy, Zach Thornton. Zach Thornton has started already. He went 4.1 innings. He got blasted. He did have 3 strikeouts, but man, oh man, his ERA 8.31. He gave up a homer. He gave up 4 runs. He walked 2 dudes, like just kind of average. And the only problem I have with backing the Phillies in this case here is 2 things. One, there's a ton of familiarity between these 2 organizations. Obviously, divisional situation. They play each other 100 times a season. And 2, one of my favorite angles, Shark, the coach just got fired angle. So can the Phillies continue to find world record setting dominance out there, coming back with home runs in the bottom of the 9th inning consistently while they're down on top of it? I mean, as a Phillies fan, it's fun to see. As a guy that's been, having the Nats yesterday, not fun to see. But Zach Wheeler goes out there, and after a home loss, he bounces back. He's 37-16. So I get it if you want to take the Phillies here. No official. I would lean to the Mets, and it would only be simply because of the fade the coach off the team fade the team off the coach getting fired angle.
Yeah. So the interim coach here is Andy Green. Mike, are you familiar with this guy?
It could be Seth Green. I don't think it makes a difference.
His middle name. This is going to be the trivia question for the show here.
Come on, I thought that was funny, dude.
It was funny. This will be even more funny. This guy's middle name, Mike. Andy Green, interim manager for the Mets. It is a golf term. Yes. No, go again.
Golf term, huh?
You need a redo on the first T.
Mulligan? No way his middle name is Mulligan, dude.
Andrew Mulligan Green.
What?
Are you kidding me? His parents must have been drunk on the golf course when he was born. Is this a joke? Who names their kid Mulligan? That all being said, the Mets are getting a mulligan tonight with this guy. He was actually the manager for the Padres from 2016 to 2019. So he's got experience. He's only 48. So he coached them when he was in his 30s, it looks like. I do expect a jolt. Looks like he played in Major League Baseball for a small period of time, kind of a journeyman. Kind of reminds me maybe of like a Craig Counsell type. That all being said, we have no idea, but that was a great point. It's Friday. We're having fun. It is a mulligan for the Mets. He is literally the mulligan, Andrew Mulligan Green, and we will keep it moving. Next game on the card, going to Cleveland tonight. Guardians Mariners game 1. Castillo at Cantillo. Nice little word correlation there. Interesting matchup, Mike. What's going on here?
This is a home team play for me. You know, we talked about the Mariners. They don't travel entirely great. And Castillo, okay, so be it. But where I think the edge lies now, you know, in all fairness, Seattle's bullpen has been on the rise, and they rank number 4 right now in Major League Baseball. So Cleveland, well, they're right in the middle. Well, they're the upper middle, I guess, at 10. So respect there. But Cantillo, man, this guy fires when the total's below an 8.5. So when they expect this guy to come out there and stand on his dick, he does it. He's 16-3 in those games over the last 19. So give him the edge as the left-handed pitching home favorite off a win to open a series on top of it. I think it's a great Cleveland Guardian spot here, and I like this price. I think it's a fair number. Cleveland can be up or down, but I want to be on the sell Seattle in the road situation as often as I can.
I agree. I have Cleveland here officially. I'm looking at what the number is here. We're actually at the plus now, plus 100. If somebody's betting Seattle, thank you. We're getting a better number. This is just where Cantillo's a home pitcher, Mike, as you said. He pitches absolutely great at home. He's had one bad home start all year. It was kind of a funky game against the Nats. Just a bizarre game, and interleague, no matchup data. This is where he's going to pitch reasonably well. He did pitch at Seattle in the first game of the season, Saturday, March 28th. He did actually labor in that game. He did not make it past the 4th inning, but here's the key point on the line. He was facing Bryan Woo, and Woo was laying minus 170. Bryan Woo, the man. Woo! But the Mariners were actually laying minus 170 in that matchup. And just in terms of historical numerical references, Castillo is usually graded right in the same line range as Woo. So theoretically, 170 out west should still hover right in the minus 140 range here in Cleveland. This is a 50-point discrepancy, which leads you to margin conversation. And it's more than just the Cantillo conversation. This is Castillo. Castillo is not what he once was. You got to go back about 7 seasons when he was pitching in this portion of the country for the Cincinnati Reds. He was a blue chip guy. That's actually what got him traded to the Mariners. His last 2 starts, he's been absolutely terrible. He's lost 3 in a row. His last 2 road starts were just completely laborious, and he really is underperforming. He's pretty much relegated to the 4th or 5th position in this rotation. And final point on this, we saw him actually be relegated literally to a platoon spot with Milw mid-season. So that shows you what the Mariners think of this guy. They think he might not even be a full rotation guy. So I think margin could develop in this game. I could actually see the Guardians get to some margin here. And just final point on this, you saw the Mariners yesterday completely lay down in Pittsburgh. Now you got to stay in that portion of the country. Just to give you guys a snapshot of the psychology of this. You know, it's a steel town. This is a very industrial portion of the country. I used to live in Pennsylvania. It's very, very kind of backwood almost for, you know, Seattle guys, Spanish guys from Latin America. Like, it's not where they juice up the energy. And I actually love Pittsburgh. I love Cleveland, so it's not a shot at anybody here. It's just very industrial. It's a street grinder type of environment. And I just think the Mariners are not hanging out well in that portion of the country. So
I'll go one further. It's a 2.5-hour drive from Pittsburgh to Cleveland, and you're going right through the heart of Depression, USA.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's a real, it's like a, it's deep, like, grinder kind of, even when you drive around, a lot of the architecture around there, like a lot of the houses are from like the early 1900s. Like, it's just a real kind of like, just, I don't know, like dark, like intense vibe. So I think the Guardians will get them tonight, Mike, and we got a video.
Appreciate everybody taking the time to watch us here. Of course, yeah, we are going to ask you guys for a thumbs up, but moreover, man, this is community appreciation time. We're hosting a contest. Maybe you've heard about it. It's called the Home Run Derby, and it's very much ready to roll. All you have to do is get out there. There is a designated video You put your comment out there. You're going to name out who you think hits a home run today, the price, the team, and the book you got it at. And we're going to give you guys some goods out there. We got some merch. We got some VIP memberships and more. So take a second if you haven't done so. All we ask you to do is smash the thumbs up button, but we want to give you guys some free stuff and we want to compete with you. So check out the Home Run Derby. And before you go anywhere, smash that thumbs up button and we'll get back to work.
Appreciation is appreciated, guys. I say it every single day. Please click the like right now. It takes literally 2 seconds, and it is the easiest thing in the world. Thank you for that, and let's keep it moving. Next game on the card, divisional baseball, south side of Chicago tonight. Royals, White Sox. Stephen Kolek at David Sandlin. Interesting matchup here, Mike. White Sox whisperers might be awake and alive on a Friday. What do you think?
I'm excited to hear your take on this game here. I don't really have much in the lines of it at all. So I thought, man, Sharks got buy hats for both these teams. So I'm just going to sit back and eat some popcorn and enjoy the show.
Oh, yes. And this is right where we want to be on a Friday. The buy hat is engaged. Take the White Sox, ladies and gentlemen. This is not a complicated handicap. The White Sox are a far better baseball team at this point of 2026. Not only that, the pitching matchup here is a heavy, heavy lean to Sandlin. Guy's in his first season here. He's coming off a back-to-back road starts where he's looked awful in both. Got shelled at Minnesota 9-6. Got shelled last Sunday at Philadelphia. 11 earned runs in only 7 1/3 innings pitched. So you say to yourself, wow, he's terrible? Not so much. Only home start, 15-2 divisional win against the Minnesota Twins. 6 innings pitched, 1 hit, 0 walks, 1 earned run on a solo home run, only 61 pitches. If this was 1985 and there was no analytics, this guy would have thrown a complete game in his only career home major league start. And I'm being dead serious. 10 pitches per inning. He could have thrown a complete game under 100 pitches. Analytics be gone sometimes, I swear. Let the man pitch. He's 25. He can throw 90 pitches. Give me a break. You know who can't throw 90 pitches? Stephen Kolek. Last start, absolutely rocked at home against St. Louis. 9 earned runs in 1 2/3. This guy's been good for most of the year. I think he's capping out. His only road start this year in the division. How beautiful is this? It was at the White Sox on Tuesday, May 12th. The White Sox won the game 6-5. Kolek was not very good. 5 earned runs, 2 home runs against in 4 2/3. He was a small favorite in that matchup against Eric Fetty. And now books are making the White Sox 50 points stronger with a rookie pitcher. This is an incredibly strong spot. Take the White Sox and let's cash. Keeping it moving down the line. Next game on the card. More divisional baseball, more baseball in the center of the country. It must be Friday in the summer. Jacob Misiorowski against Colin Ray. Misiorowski lines have now skyrocketed to almost minus 300. The guy is absolutely elite. Mike, I know you make a lot of money fading these numbers. Can you do it tonight?
Yeah, I can do it only because I'm up in this position and I wouldn't take, I talked about it before. Much like we were on the we're on the forefront of bullpens, we're on the forefront of juice balls. We were on the forefront of Misiorowski by giving you guys this guy to get the win prop at the very first spot of the season. I think it was like plus 250 or so. Game 1 on the road. The team's on a winning streak. Do go out there and continue. It is sustainable over 22 years. It does show it's a Cubs spot. So, look, if you want to call it a Misiorowski bounce back spot, if you're looking to dig in for motivation, I think you're reaching a little bit because the guy fired his last game. Wasn't his fault he took the loss. I told you he was going to take the loss out there, but it was just because of the bats, the unders, right? Listen, I told you the number 1 under ballpark, as crazy as some of the stuff I say might sound, it is Hotlanta that is an under ballpark. And when you can get a big price tag on what should be a 1-run game, you go for it. And guess what? Atlanta beats Misiorowski 3-2 and under. The guy went 6 innings. He did give up 2 earned runs, but no homers and only 1 walk. So he showed command and control, but you got to respect what the Cubs did. I think they probably come into this thing. I know yesterday, obviously, that again, a tight little grind about win there that they had to hang on to, but yeah, I'll take a shot with them. I mean, listen, it's not a huge a huge play, but I'm not going to lay 260. And if that means I got to take the Cubs to do it, I think they're in fine form right now. They just smacked them Mets around, man. They knocked the taste out of their mouth 4 straight games. I think they're in good position.
Yeah, tough game for me. I think when these lines get this high, it just becomes it really just kind of off my grid. Mizorowski, I guess, deserves it. I mean, we've said this before. The guy he could throw a complete game shutout almost with his eyes closed at this point. He's off a loss. As you said, he didn't look bad in the game. He only gave up 2 earned runs. I just think it's a tough game. You talk about the Cubs coming across from Queens. They had a doubleheader. The game last night went to extras. Kelly's talking about it in the chat. Fatigue, 4th game in 3 days. This is that. I do think there's some validity there. Play a doubleheader, and then you go to extras the next game. This could be a tough spot. That all being said, Colin Ray did actually beat Paul Skeens on the road as an underdog, so he certainly got it in his blood to compete up to these young aces. Not a lot for me on this one, just some conversation. I think it's a tough game. You don't want to buy the Cubs in this spot. The fatigue is real, but Colin Ray is not really on the Cubs from that standpoint. He didn't play in those games. So he could certainly match Mizorowski, and you might get some sort of backdoor lay. I wouldn't lay 273. Interesting conversation. We'll leave it at that. And
can I make one comment on the fatigue factor? I don't want to hear about fatigue in baseball ever again. Jazz Chisholm eating fucking suckers in the fucking center field out there in the middle of a competitive game. There is no fatigue. They're playing a kid's game. Enough.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, out of all the major sports, clearly there's, less endurance needed. You see certain guys just kind of hanging out there every day. So yeah, no, I agree. But anyway, we'll keep it moving. Next game on the card, interleague baseball tonight in Minnesota. Rockies at Twins. Tomoyuki Sugano at Taj Bradley. Talk about a matchup here. We got the Taj Mahal against Sugano. Yeah. Mike, I don't have a Rockies hat yet. I got to order one. What's going on in this game?
I was hoping you were going to give the old Taj Mahal the shout out there. Probably see some runs in this game. I'll keep it short and sweet. I don't have a ton to really drill into here. Certainly not in the business of laying $1.56 on the Twins, but you see these 8.5s have moved to 9s and now 9.5s, and you have sharp betting coming in on those spots as well here. I think we see both these pitchers are very vulnerable and capable of getting smacked. And the thing about it is when these guys come out, I'm actually more concerned that the bullpens tighten up. So I like the first 5. I think the over 4.5 in the first 5. It's sitting around -130.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't disagree. I'm going to give you guys the the run line with the Rockies here. I'm looking at the price now. I think it's around even money. You can get -133 plus 1.5. I see a tight game. And what I'm looking at here is a couple things. First of all, Sugano, 36 years old from Japan. I was thinking about this before. He's in his 2nd year in Major League Baseball. What does that mean? It means this guy's a pro. You don't come across, the scouts aren't scouting you at age 34 in Japan unless you've really got some high-level professionalism. And you're seeing that with this guy. This is his 2nd season as a Major League pitcher. First one with the Rockies, pitched with Baltimore last year, which brings us to this center point against American League opponents. He's actually 3-0 on the road against American League teams this year playing for the Rockies, all by margin. Mike, I don't know why we're bothering with the plus 1.5. I'll give you guys the money line.
Great balls.
He beat Toronto in the first game of the year back in March, 14-5 on the road. They beat the Angels with this guy on the bump 8-2 on Tuesday, June 2nd, and they beat the Athletics in Vegas 23-9. So not only is he pitching reasonably well, the bats show up for this guy. 14, 8, and 23. Mike, there's your over. And I think Taj Bradley's going to struggle here. I think this is a letdown spot for this game. This guy got shipped out by the Rays. We're giving all sorts of credentials to the Rays being the whisperers of pitchers. Well, they didn't like this guy enough to keep him. He's inconsistent. He hasn't pitched well against the National League at home. And final point on this, I think this is a really tough spot for the Twins just in general. They just played 3 games against the Dodgers at home, lost all 3, but competed real tight. Joe Ryan losing 2 nights ago to Ohtani 4-3. So you play the champs, you leave it all out there, then you have a day off and you play the Rockies. It's a rocky spot, and the Rockies are actually 6-1 to the run line in the first game of a road series coming off of a previous home game. It's all over the Rockies. We'll take both. Guys, take +1.5, take the money line. I mean, if you look at these games, they could win by 6 runs. Take some alts, too. Why not? Mike, any further comments?
Ready to go.
Take them all. Let's cash. Next game on the card, Marlins Cardinals tonight in St. Louis. Big pitching matchup here. Michael McGreevy against Max Meyer. Rain out yesterday for the Cardinals. We wanted that spot. Now you get the Marlins on the road. Mike, what's going on here?
Yeah, I'm short with this one too. I like the Cardinals in the spot. Miami to start a series off, we know is not really one of those positions you want to be in. Max Meyer, a lot of guys like what this guy's doing. I get it. 102 strikeouts to 90 innings. He's well over the 1-to-1 ratio. And while McGreevy and a lot of pundits expect St. Louis to start to kind of bottom out a little bit, they're just not doing that. So in essence here, you're giving them a rest position as a small favorite at home against a team that is traveling. I'm not talking out of both sides of my mouth because I don't want to hear about the fatigue. I do think that you're giving these guys an extra day's rest. All they can do is benefit from that. So I'll take the St. Louis Cardinals in this spot.
I agree. Going for the hat on this one. We're turning up the vibes here. The buy hat is engaged. Take the Cardinals. And, you're looking at Max Meyer here. He's 8-0 on the season, and I think this is where he gets his first loss tonight. I think this is just not where the Marlins travel. Mike, you've been saying it for the duration of the show and last year as well. The Marlins just don't perform well in the first game of a series. Not only that, you're getting a heads-up revenge game here for McGreevy. McGreevy did pitch heads up against Meyer in Miami going back to April 20th. The Marlins did win the game 5-3. The Marlins were favored in that game -140. So here's your line again. Heavy home line. This doesn't have to move all the way over to the Cardinals. There are scenarios where you win at home, you're still favored on the road. We see it all the time. So the books like the Cardinals here. And I said it yesterday, McGreevy is a home pitcher. He shoves in these spots at home outside of the division. He's a young guy. He's a gamer. He will have this circled on the calendar. I lost heads up to this guy Meyer at Miami. I want revenge personally. And Meyer's numbers on the road are incredibly inflated versus his efficiency at home in Miami. It's a top-level handicap. I think the Cardinals take care of business tonight. Take it and let's cash. Keeping it moving down the line here. 3 late-night games tonight. First one in Los Angeles, Angel Stadium. JT Ginn at Walbert Urania. Big-time stuff here. 3rd time this year these guys are facing off heads up, Mike. What's going on here?
I had a tough time with this game. Look at our guy. Shout out to JPZ with the comment here in the chat. He said, most recent calculations show you guys one run. MLB games decided by 1 run is 27%. That means don't take the +1.5. Lay the number out there. I like that you decided not to take the +1.5 with Colorado. That made me happy. What did not make me happy was San Francisco losing yesterday here. It's so funny. You hear people talk about this all the time. Oh, the Athletics only scored 2 runs in this series. There's no way they can win. You heard this yesterday with, was it Ecuador? Ecuador's not scoring any runs. There's no way, or scoring any goals. There's no way they score. Well, they went out there and won the game 2-1. I mean, come on. They played 3 games total out there. And so small sample size doesn't mean that this team can't go and fire. And I think this is an athletic spot. I'll go back. I remember the losses more than I remember the wins, Shark. I know you're probably much of the same elk here. And Ginn for the win. Implosion by bullpen in Chicago. I still can't move on from that one. So I'm not going to let it dissuade me, though, from jumping in on what I think is a nice deal here. And I think the deal with the Athletics, small road travel situation, give me a shot. Now, generally speaking, teams that leave San Francisco have struggled. So I'm not sure what that's all about here. And frankly, well, probably because of what we saw with San Francisco, the Athletics do rank 29th overall in bullpen. So It's not the sexiest of plays, but frankly, the Angels, they still rank 22nd. They have moved up 3 spots in the last week, so their bullpen does seem to have a slight advantage. Maybe it's the Athletics in the first 5.
Yeah, I could see the first 5. I like the Angels for the game. And, we do have really good data here. And, Mike, you're talking about the melt for Ginn at Chicago. Let's go even more precise here. The last time Ginn played at the Angels, it was Monday night, May 18th. He took a 2-1 loss. He was throwing a no-hitter going into the 9th inning. Not only did he lose the no-hitter, he lost the game, then came back in his most recent start against the Angels last Saturday, did not perform well. Very much the opposite of a no-hitter. 7 hits, 3 walks, 4 earned runs in only 5 1/3. So now you get matchup 3, and you think about the psychology of this. He almost threw a no-hitter and lost. Then he lost again to the Angels. The Angels have clearly figured him out. He's not going to come back in here and shove. I think he could actually get slaughtered to a certain degree. And you talk about this guy, Wsox Urania. I didn't know who he was 6 months ago, but I love him now, and I love him at home. He is an absolute genius at home. Just going through his starts at home here. 2 runs against San Diego, 1 against the Mets, 1 against the White Sox. The game against JT Ginn, where JT Ginn was throwing a no-hitter, Wsox Urania was the other pitcher, and he had 0 earned runs against in 6 innings. He beat Texas at home. He beat Colorado at home. Last divisional home start, 0 earned runs, 10-1 blowout of Houston. This is where Urania is totally locked in, and I think Ginn will struggle here. And like you said, A's yesterday had a crazy comeback, real tough series, a lot of late games, just all sorts of stuff out in San Francisco. Now you got to come down the coast and hang out in LA? I don't think so. I think the Angels take care of business here with some emphasis potentially. Take the Angels and let's cash. 2 more games on the card. We're staying in Southern California. Big dog stuff here. I know everybody down there is really excited for this weekend series. Dodgers Padres opening up tonight. Roki Sasaki at Walker Buehler. I opened up the show asking this question. I'll ask it again. Does Walker Buehler shove against his own team, Mike?
I kicked it off. I kicked it off talking about that Cincinnati and Pittsburgh and how excited I was. I'm excited about this one. I just cut you off before you even tossed it over to me. I said, you know what? I'll just take it and run with it here. How about that? Sasaki and Buehler. What a fun battle. Look, there's a couple facts here. One, I think this is a pitching battle. Buehler's been firing right now. He's in a great spot. You put him in the dog role, man. Don't do it. Don't you do it. Don't make that man angry because he can go out there and show you. Their Dodgers might learn today. I still think Sasaki gets it done, though. And look, here's the thing about this. I told you guys the number 1 bullpen in baseball, Padres. It's a fact. They remain number 1. Their closer, Mason Miller, has a .79. This is incredible ERA for this guy out there. And he's going to accept the challenge of these Dodgers and these mighty bats that the Dodgers bring to the table. Sasaki-san on the other side of things for me. Player prop I want to get involved with here is his K prop. You look at a couple things. One, he's a monster. He's got 70 strikeouts to just 25 walks through 68 innings. So he's over the 1-to-1 ratio that we're looking for. He gets these guys, talk about spin in his splitter. He gets them to whiff a ton. The Padres, if you look at their overall strikeout percentage, they're about 23%, 23.2% or so. They're up to about almost 25% in the last 2 weeks. So they are striking out a little bit more. And we saw Sasaki, pulled off the swing and miss capability just his last start. So I'm going to go back to it. You get a +115 on over 5.5 strikeouts for this guy. I like that play quite a bit. I like the Padres to win this game. I think that, when they battle each other, it is a battle. It is a show. There is that situation where you want to fade these Dodgers in this price range, but also I like the under. So my official, though, I'll go to the under 7.5. It's a nice little +104. And I'm going to take Sasaki-san over 5.5 strikeouts, +115.
Yeah, I agree with most of that. I think the Padres win this game. Going to give you guys the Padres at +127. And you look at Sasaki here, second season. He's only had 2 divisional road starts in his career. Neither have been very impressive. Last year, he got crushed at Arizona. This year, his only one was at Colorado in April. 4 2/3, 7 hits, 2 walks, 3 runs, 1 home run. This guy's just not traveling here. And I think Buehler is going to really find efficiency here tonight. He's pitched great at home for most of the year. It's his old team. He's going to be totally locked in. And final point on this, these teams did meet already in San Diego earlier this year. This is the second series in San Diego. There will be, of course, a couple in Los Angeles coming up this summer as well. And the Padres did compete efficiently in this matchup. Short line for the Dodgers. Sasaki will get hit. Buehler will shove. Take the Padres and let's cash. Final game of the card, 10:15. Braves-Giants opening up a weekend series in the Bay. Ronaldo Lopez at Trevor McDonald. Lopez in the bullpen for a while, coming back to the starter role. McDonald off a loss. Mike, what's going on here?
Yeah, I'll take the Braves. No need to glorify this thing. They've got the number 2 bullpen in baseball. San Francisco, just start putting some runs together. I don't like that little melt that they had. They do rank. Talk about the disparity in the game. Number 24 in their bullpen overall right now. So they're using a committee approach when it comes to their bullpen as well. They're struggling. They're dropped 8 points in the past week. Some of that's because of those athletic spots, but I like the Atlanta Braves in this spot here. Nothing too sexy, just a nice little modest and honest -122 price tag. Might even be better here. Let me take a look.
I agree.
Yeah, -116. Right.
I absolutely agree. When you look at Lopez, as I said, he's been in the bullpen for a while. But if you go back to early season, he did get a couple starts out west, and he was favored right in the same range at Arizona and at the Angels. And the Braves hammered down in both of those games. The only one in this division at Arizona, they won 17-2, and the other one was 7-2. And this guy McDonald, I talked about this actually going back in one of his more recent starts. His home campaign is very centered on efficiency against division opponents. He did shove against the Padres and did pitch very well against the Diamondbacks. Out of division home games for this guy, shelled against the White Sox, 7 earned runs, 9-4 loss, and shelled against the Cubs, 4 earned runs, 6 hits in less than 4 innings. This is not where McDonald's going to perform. You take the Braves in this game, and let's cash. A little over an hour. We got a lot of energy. It's Friday, Mike, and we got best bets.
The best bets, but a little promo as well. It's the Home Run Derby here on the Sports Money Network. You guys excited to bring you the first of its kind contest here on the Sports Money Network with prizes and giveaways galore, courtesy of the Sports Money Network. We're looking to get you guys a 9-day contest. Starts June 25th through July 3rd, and all you have to do is comment below. The Home Run Derby prediction needs all 4 criteria: the player name, the team name, the home run pricing or odds that you got that at, and the book you got them from. As an example, you would say Aaron Judge with the Yankees at +250 on DraftKings in the comments section. It's 1 entry per person per day. Must include all 4 components out there of the entry limit counts. And you come back daily. We'll give you guys updates as the contest progresses. I think you have what it takes to win the Home Run Derby. Comment below, and let's cash together with the Sports Money Network.
I'm like an addict, do I gotta have it. I ain't even playing, got a really bad.
Shark, my man, I'm excited. I can't wait to see who you're going to enter today. I think I know who I'm going to put out there. And I'm going to tell you what, he's going to be 11-1, I think is going to be the official for me. So I'm looking to take this thing home in day number 2, especially after you and I were on the same guy yesterday. Little pusharooski with St. Louis out there. So Burleson did not get a chance to swing his hips nor his bat. But best bets, Shark, I'm going to fire up here. I've got 3 sides or 3 plays, and I've got 2 props for you guys. I'm going to go with the no-run first inning in Detroit. I'm going to take that's an even money play. I'm going to go with the Yankees -108 and the Atlanta Braves -116. I'm going to go with the Paul Skeens alternate over 8.5 strikeouts +121. And I'm going to take Sasaki-san over 5.5 strikeouts at +115. What say you, Shark?
All right, we got a bunch of buy hats here. We're taking Pittsburgh -1.5. That's +117. Rays -127. That jumped up to -133. White Sox -127. Cardinals -104. And we'll throw in the late night special as well. Braves -116.
All right. What do we have for a parlay? Let's go with the Cleveland Guardians. We both seem to be dialed in there, if I'm not mistaken.
Absolutely.
Texas Rangers to fade none other than Patrick Corbin. And then how about we go with, you want to go with the Athletics? You good with the A's?
No, I have the Angels there.
Oh, so you're definitely not good with them.
What about the one of those?
First five? You got Tampa full game. We can go Tampa first five.
Sounds good to me.
All right. There you go, you guys. Cleveland, Texas, Tampa Bay first five. Shark. A week in the books, my friend. 5 days is what makes up Monday through Friday. So that being said, our guy Jay Peasy says, stop taking the Braves. Jay Peasy, the Braves are the number 2 bullpen in baseball. They got great bats. They play run suppression style offense. They're going to strike and we're going to cash. So that being said, though, you guys, thank you all for watching. Make sure you enter the Home Run Derby contest. And you know what? Give my guy Shark a follow on Twitter. How about that shout out, man? Sharky Watered Nations. Guys giving you guys plays, content, feedback, all kinds of stuff over there on Twitter. So give my guy a follow.
Yeah, please do. And always manage your bankroll, guys. As we said, yesterday was kind of crazy, but it's funny because you guys could probably sense we're having a good time on this show. And I used to be happy off of losses, and people would say, you're not betting, which first of all is completely false. Second of all, you should be angry. Guys, when you understand statistics, you actually get relieved a little bit off of a loss because you know it's about to get better. You should be more terrified when you're scorching hot that it's about to come down a little bit. When you're a little cold, it's about to get hot. And this is a very nice card. We are data abundant, and it is an opportunity to dominate. As Mike said, that's a week in the books. We got the Home Run Derby props. We got everything going on. Guys, have a great weekend. We appreciate you guys in the chat. If not in the chat, you're watching after the show, please drop a comment underneath the video on YouTube. We will interact with you guys. It brings the conversation to the forefront, and conversation wins. We will see you guys on Monday. That is MLB Bases Loaded on this Friday, June the 26th, 2026. For Mike, I am the Shark. Stay fast, stay strong, stay disciplined, and let's dominate.
I'm like an addict, do I gotta have it. I ain't even playing, got a really bad habit. If it moves, gotta grab it, fuse like a magnet. Lose, won't have it till I'm doomed in a casket. I ain't playing, got a weird mind. If you work 8 hours, I'ma work 9. If the shit tastes sour, you should taste mine.